Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, this is BestInSlot, and today is a very special day. Actually, yesterday was a very special day. Today is the second most special day, because we have officially cracked that 200 mark, and 5 more on top of it, for Jurassic World Evolution. 205 species total in the game. Now, considering we started at, 67? That's a little bit nuts. That means there's now more, right, so if you take the original amount and triple it, we have more than that. We're like 4 over that number. It's utter madness and really, really cool. So big shout out to all the mod makers, both in this video and in every single video I've done on this series so far, because, you know, we wouldn't be here without you. Anyways, very, very cool. 205! Nuts! Let's get started. We've got some really cool dinosaurs and some really cool other things to show you today. We're going to kick things off with 2 dinosaurs which I absolutely love by Serpy Derpy. The first one is actually the very first, technically not the first Stegosaurid we've had, but the very first Stegosaurid mod we've had. Stegosaurus models are super difficult to work with. Now, I am not super into the modding yet. I'm working on it, but I'm not super into it yet, so I don't really understand why that is. But it has proven very, very, very difficult. So this is actually the first one we've ever had. So here we have Hesperosaurus. Very, very cool. Very similar to Stegosaurus, but it has a deeper skull, and, you know, a deep skull. That is beautiful by Max Lane, by the way. A deeper skull is a cooler skull. I really like how it looks. It's got the alternating plates, which you'd want. I really like the patterning on them as well. And, of course, the main thing about it is this kind of dewlap we have here at the bottom. I don't know how much evidence there is for that, but it's a little bit speculative, and that's okay. A lot of dinosaurs would have had these intrugments that we would be unaware of because we have incomplete fossil records, or the skin didn't leave like a noticeable pattern on the bone or whatever, or on the material we found, so we wouldn't know if this thing exists, and it makes it look more exciting. And I also love it's got these kind of osteoderms, bumpy bits all over the body, because there is quite a lot of evidence for that. Oh, the food just disappeared. Right, following on from that, we have a Micropachycephalosaurus, also by Serpy Derpy. Very talented, made 2 of my absolute favourite mods in this video. It's so tiny, it's so much smaller than I thought it was. How did I not realise this? I did research on it. Oh my god, it's actually based on the compy, but it's a herbivore. Okay, I'm going to have to... Right, let's get you out of the grass. And then I'm going to have to stop you for a second, pal. Okay, there we go. So this is a Micropachycephalosaurus. It's fantastic looking. That long sweeping tail is like a little homocephaly, sort of. And then the quilling at the back, which I really, really like. Now, fun fact, despite being called Micropachycephalosaurus, it is actually not a pachycephalosaurid at all. It's actually technically a ceratopsian. The people who originally found it, I believe it was a Chinese team, I believe it is a Chinese dinosaur, they said they found, when they, named it Micropachycephalosaurus, they found the, the head plate. It's dead now. They found the head plate, but since then, and I will say this one does kind of have the head plate, but since then, the head plate has mysteriously disappeared. So we think it probably didn't actually look like a little Pachycephalosaurus at all, but, Ah! Wait, did it? Wait, is it? I'm confused. Did it just do the herbivore eating animation? How have you done this, Serpy Derpy? Did it just do the herbivore eating, well, the compy eating animation, but on a herbivore feeder, and actually pull off a piece of... Staggering work. Staggering work. Honestly. Right, next up, and our final little herbivore, is Layla. I hate this bloody dinosaur every time I try to pronounce it. It's based on some Australian, like the Dig team. Their daughter was called Layli Nana or something. Anyways, Laylinasura by Netraptor Gonzalo GM87 and Kinda Creativity 8 very nicely sent me a message explaining how to pronounce their name, because I keep butchering it, and I completely forgot to check it before this video, so whoopsie daisy. Now this is actually part of the Australian pack, which includes with it 3 other dinosaurs. I'm only going to show you this one. This was my favourite of the bunch. And the thing I really like about this, it's a little bit speculative these days, but one of the things that this dinosaur is super known for, this little herbivore, is its super long tail. The tail was as long as the rest of its body combined 3 times over. It was 3/4 tail, basically, is what that means. As you can see, it is absolutely gigantic. Now, more recent evidence has put that into a little bit of dispute, I would say. As with 99% of dinosaurs we ever look at, there's so much controversy and discussion over what is actually going on and whether people are correct or not, and new things are being discovered and re-evaluated in light of new technology all the time. But it's fun to stick with things like this for now. I really like this. I'm not going to say anything about Kiss because it doesn't have the right patterning. It's black and white with a little spark of red over by the head. Definitely my favourite in the pack. And but you can check out the rest of them on the mod page, which is all linked down below in the document as per usual. Now, we're going to move on to my personal favourite, favourite model of today. Oh, it's close. Anyways, this is Yutyrannus by Nanolasensis. Now, Yutyrannus is one of my favourite dinosaurs of all time. And we have to hear it roar. I technically don't have sound in my head because I don't have my headset. So I have to assume when its mouth is shut, it's not roaring anymore. So Yutyrannus, one of my all-time favourite dinosaurs. Those of you who are watching my dinosaur book series will know that the main dinosaur of my book, my novel I was working on, was a Yutyrannus, the feathered tyrant. It's a feathered tyrant. Someone posted on nexusmods if they could remove the feathers. It was funny to everyone. Anyways, so early Cretaceous Chinese Tyrannosaurid, the feathered tyrant. As I say, this is the largest dinosaur ever found with direct evidence of feathers from like fossil imprints. And we actually found 3 different specimens of Yutyrannus. It's a pretty good fossil record overall. And feathers were found all over the place, on the thighs, on the back of the head, on the tail, on the forelimbs. They were, you know, all over the bloody place. We're not sure if it was because we don't have full skeletons. It could have been total body featherage. Featherage? Is that a word? Well, it is now. Or it could have been more like this, where it's kind of sort of more top-down kind of style. It looks fantastic. It's really done justice to one of my favourite dinosaurs. This is what the feathers would have potentially looked like as well. They may have been a teeny bit longer, but I don't know actually. They wouldn't have been long, glorious peacock feathers. They would have been shortish, stout, almost proto-feather-esque in their appearance. And it also had this like bizarre little crest. This is actually not the default skin. 99% of the time I show you the default skin, but with the Yutyrannus, I always picture it as being like white and grey and stuff like that. It was in my novel as well, so I wanted to show you the alpine skin because this is honestly very close to how I pictured it. It's absolutely beautiful. And I'm so happy Nano, of all people, is one of the ones who went for this because they're very talented, as you can see. Alright, let's move on to a couple of small carnivores, and then we'll be done with the normies. First up is the Ostroraptor by Netraptor and Kinda Creativitat. I'm so sorry. I promise I'll find out before the next video. This is an Argentinian Cretaceous theropod and one of the largest dromaeosaurids overall, competing with like the Yutyraptor and stuff like that. The skeleton is bare bones, to say the least, like basically every dinosaur. I do have a slight problem with this one though. One of the things we know about the skeleton, I suppose it is kind of, no, not really. One of the things we do know about the skeleton for the Ostroraptor is that it had teeny tiny forearms. That's like one of its defining features, and we don't really have that here. Beyond that, it's actually a really cool looking dinosaur. I would have maybe liked to see it feathered, but you know, I really like the skin patterning. That's really nice, like the texture and the colouring, and that sort of black to white fade is really nice and natural looking, but also interesting. And then the black muzzle is pretty cool as well. Just bringing those forearms in, that's all we need. But still, pretty cool looking little dinosaur. Along with that, we have a Guanlong, another Chinese tyrannosaurid, technically. The name meaning is very cool. The Crown Dragon. This is an awesome name. This little guy, so as I say, it's a tyrannosaurid, and predates T-Rex. I know this, everyone knows this and everything, but this predates T-Rex, another tyrannosaurid, by 92 million years, which is staggering. I don't think we always appreciate just how long dinosaurs dominated the planet. It is just a length of time so incredibly long that I don't think we can wrap our heads around it. It's like imperceptible almost. It's such a long amount of time, considering how long we've been on this planet. A year feels like a long time. 92 million years, and that's just between these two dinosaurs. It's utter nonsense. Anyways, also possibly feathered in reality, because we have feathering evidence for Dilong, which was a very close relative for the Guanlong. But yeah, pretty cool. I know some people have some problems with the coloration. I don't really mind it so much. I'm not so big on the yellow. I think my problems with coloration these days are usually taste directed more than anything else. But I think it's a pretty cool little Guanlong. It's got that very distinctive crest, and I think a dinosaur like Guanlong suits being well coloured. Overall, it's really going to come down to You could spend less time in the shadows, buddy. That would be fantastic. It's really going to come down to personal preference. I'm not sure the colours are to my personal taste, but I don't have a problem with the vividness or anything of them. And I really do like how bright that crest sits at the top of the head. That's very, very cool. Anyways, right, now we've got... Not that these weren't awesome. Some of my absolute favourite dinosaurs in this list already. Yutyrannus is up there forever. Hesp is up there forever. There's just so many good dinosaurs. But there's something very special I want to show you over here in the hybrids. This is Grebnedu. Grebnedu. And it's very strange. This was made by Dinoman715. And this is a deep cut. This is as deep a deep cut, basically, as you can get into the Jurassic Park franchise. Let's just freeze that right there so you can get a look at this guy. So this is technically a sea snake hybrid, along with some other stuff. And basically, Universal Studios over in Florida, they do something called Halloween Horror Nights, where they theme areas of the park after, you know, Halloween stuff. And for Jurassic Park, back in, I think it was 2002 for the Grebnedu, they did a thing where there was this, like, mad scientist and he was making dinosaur hybrids. So this is, like, the first hybrid. We're not going to talk about the bloody Spinosaurus. It's not a hybrid. Shut up. Over that, okay, and if someone says all dinosaurs in Jurassic Park are hybrids, I will do absolutely nothing, but I'll be irritated. Grr. Because technically, yes, sure, but you know what? When we see a hybrid, we mean a combination of different dinosaurs. Okay, with that settled, Grebnedu was rigged to pop out of the shadows and scare guests. This weird sea snake dino bizarro hybrid. It looks ridiculous. It looks really stupid. It looks like it's got giant elf ears, but it's a very cool deep cut, and I really, really appreciate that. That's a very, very cool, and that's a fun little side effect. One of the other attractions that they've had at that same thing was called, I just like the name, it's called Project Evolution. Get it? Evolution? That's good stuff. Right, we're going to move down to the seas now. Over here. Ooh, to the seas. Very exciting. And we have a Megalodon made by Max Lay. Or made into a species by Max Lay. There it is. I don't know what it's based on. It's a bloody giant. So, Megalodon. It's a big shark, isn't it? I actually wrote the most about Megalodon compared to every other creature on this list by about 50%, if not more, so it looks awesome. Right, so big shark. It diverged from the great white, we think, during the Cretaceous at some point and got hella big, basically. I'm going to talk about why in a second. It's actually super interesting. Fossils are lacking a little bit for the Megalodon. We've basically got the teeth. I really need to learn to speak English. We've got the teeth, and we've got some vertebrae, and that's about it. We don't really actually have a clear idea of what Megalodon looks like. Now, most people go in this direction. They think of a big, bulky great white shark, and that is probably the most likely. And we would have had this, you can see the head is very sort of bulky and puffed up. It wouldn't have that sort of sharp nose that people often give it, we think. But it would have been bulkier because the size of the teeth mean the jaw would have to be massive, bulky, and sturdy. I've said bulky far too many times. What are you doing? I'm trying to show you to YouTube. Are you actually having a drink? You're actually having a... This is... Wait, what's going on here? Oh. I'm being stupid. I thought this was above ground. Wow, it's just me being an idiot. Never mind. Okay. So I like that this Megalodon has this... Not that you can bloody see it, but it's got a big, chunky head, and it's got this really nice scarring going on. We can see the gills. Yeah, it's a really cool model. You have to take my word for it. Oh, are we in business? There we go. Yes, you see, it's thick-headed. It's cool. Now, why did Megalodon get so big? Now, of course, the weather was appropriate and the temperature of the seas, and there was fertile feeding grounds. But one of my favourite theories that was posited last year is that Megalodon did something what's called intrauterine cannibalism. And it's basically what Indominus Rex did. You know, they said that Indominus Rex ate its sibling, right? So the theory is, with this intrauterine... Is that how I pronounce it right? Intrauterine cannibalism, there you go. Is that the big fetus eats the little fetus, okay? I really want to sing the fetus song from Friends. I'm going to resist. The big fetus eats the little fetus, but there's always a bigger fetus, that well-known saying. So, the next time, it means the bigger fetuses survive, right? And naturally, that means more bigger and bigger fetuses, fetopods. The fetuses get larger and larger over time, because the bigger one is always surviving and eating the younger one. So, in order to harbour said large fetus, it's not a word not a sentence I ever thought I'd say, the mother had to grow larger as well. She increased her calorie count, became larger, and that allowed her to safely harbour and give birth to these larger baby megalodons. And so, in order to satisfy Mama Megalodon, the males also had to, in reality, so they could copulate safely and realistically, but the point is, the males had to also grow bigger to have Megalodon sex with the very large mothers, basically. This is a very weird time for me. I think it's a very cool theory. I really like that theory. Anyways, Megalodon looks awesome. Shout out to Max Lay. Right, we have one more creature. For that one, we have to swerve up here to the top. We're going to ignore that I put the Megalodon up here by accident. We're going to pop out a Diplo. How you pronounce it? Yeah, Diplo. This is made into a species by Max Lay, but was originally actually a Zoo Tycoon 2 mod. I think we actually played with it back in the day by Okanos. And this was an amphibian from the Lepospondyle. That little eye always gets me. I want to say Lepospondyle, but a little eye at the end. Group, with Diplocalus being well known in that group in particular. Why does the camera hate me? With the Diplocalus being known in particular for that huge boomerang-shaped head at the front. Now, interestingly, it's not just a weird-shaped skull. It's technically it's horns. I can't remember what the term was, but it means like a column, basically. Tabular, I think it was, and it means the horns are kind of in a column shape, and in the Diplo they just happen to like point backwards, basically. Where's my writing on this? The most recent research on Diplo, as it bobs around the world, is that the purpose of the head shape was it's basically hydrofoil. So the idea is that it would help. What are you doing? Just go around in circles. Maybe you're just trying too hard. It's close, no. So, it's a hydrofoil, so what it would do is allow the Diplo to kind of control the way that water flowed over its body, right? And then when it was hunting, oh god, Hatsi, you're looking terrifying, buddy. If it was hunting, if it was like swimming up to grab something, the water would flow really nicely over the body. And it meant the Diplo was actually quite an agile hunter when it wanted to be. Which is cool. And it looks really good, I've got to say. I know Max Lay, there's a lot of discussion about this little guy over in the Jurassic World Evolution modding Discord, and other people helped and got involved, and it was a thing. But Max did a lot of work to make this look as good as it does, and it really shows, because it looks absolutely fantastic. The texture, and a shout out to Okanos as well, obviously, for texturing and making the thing in the first place. The texture actually looks really good. You can't tell this is a Zoo Tycoon 2 model, can you? It's been, smoothed out and stuff like that, I'm sure, but still, looks really good. It's got that sort of skin flap pushing back from the horns, got teeny little legs, big chunky tail. Yeah, very, very cool. This video took a lot longer than I expected. There were many more dinosaurs I could have covered, but I thought it's more fun to go into a little bit more detail on particular creatures, basically, and I really enjoyed the Megalodon stuff in particular, but I actually really enjoyed this video. That's very strange. Why have I enjoyed it so much? I have no idea. Hopefully you guys at home enjoyed it too and had a lovely time. That was our 205 mods. I'll see you in a week for 300, I suppose. It is a crazy number of dinosaurs and other things. It really is utterly bloody nuts. I really wish we could mod in a search function, however, because it's getting a little ridiculous. At least we'll always have alphabetical order. Alphabets will save the day. I've always thought that. I didn't even show you the Kong pack! Oh, I'm an idiot. Right, okay, very quickly, I'm just going to tell you. Right, so we have shown this on the channel before, so it's fine. But the Kong pack that I highlighted in the past by Sweetener, with the V-Rex, with the Diablosaurus, with there's one right at the top, the Adlapsusaurus, stuff like that, the raptors, what are the raptors called? Venatosaurus, stuff like that, has now been made into a separate species pack. So you can get all of those into your game, basically, as individual species. I was actually meant to highlight it. There's the Diablosaurus right there. But we have shown them all on the channel before. I believe the V-Rex has been slightly redesigned. I tell you what, screw it. Let's show you the V-Rex nice and quick. I think the V-Rex got a slightly new model. Where's my big carnator? Over here. So let's nip down to the bottom. Vastastosaurus. Thankfully, we have this lovely mod with incubation speed 10 times, well, 1,000 times, so everything takes very little time to pop out. I have no words prepared for we're going to call it V-Rex. Vastatosaurus. The new model, I think it's remodel, right? It looks really good. Of course, from King Kong 2005 by Peter Jackson. One of the greatest films ever made. Unironically, one of my all-time favourite films. The extended edition is brilliant and highly recommended. People say it's too slow, those people are wrong. Anyways, yeah, so there's V-Rex and there's a bunch of Kong dinosaurs, which is really cool, so definitely check that pack out as well. As I say, these are all linked in the Google document you can find in the description. Thank you for joining me. Let me know which one of these is your favourite in the comment section down below. If you download any of them for your own PC game, go give the mod makers lots of love, endorsements, all that kind of jazz. I will see you lovely folks next time. If you enjoyed this video, please throw me a like, because, you know, it takes like a whole hour to make these videos. It's very hard work. I'll see you lovely folks next time. Thanks for joining me. Cheers, much love as always. Bye-bye.
Houston, if you're ready, we'll maneuver.